Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. It's actually a mystery coffee. I had it in an airtight ceramic container. Yeah, it's a mystery coffee. I don't remember what it was when I bought it. I just put 2 scoops of it in the percolator, and we'll find out what it is right now. Not bad. I forgot that I had this. All right. With you, I'm not shy to show the way I feel. With you, I might try my secrets to reveal. For you are a magnet, and I am steel. Walter Egan, 1978. For some reason, I thought it was earlier than 78, and it might be. But that was from an era of some really mushy music. Late 70s. It's almost as if rock got really hard at that point. It was good. 70s rock was good. But then pop music got really, how can I put it? Mushy. I think that's the only word I can use. How many figures can you identify in this picture? One of my guests, Lance, gave this to me probably back in 2016, 2017, I'm guessing. Put it in a frame. Take a look at it. How many figures do you see in this? Do you have a farm stand near you that's selling tomatoes and peppers and onions and melons? I'm all for putting money in the hands that actually planted and harvested the fruit, the veggies, that actually gathered the honey. To me, that's the real Whole Foods market. And I'm fortunate to have a farm like that near me. I don't know how much longer they're going to be around. I don't know how sustainable everything is. If you are a bird person, you know the sounds and the songs of all the birds that come to your feeders. Then all of a sudden you hear a song that you never heard before, and you race to the window and you see a multicolored woodpecker or some kind of bird you've never seen before. Those are the simple pleasures of having a quiet home where when you hear other birds that you don't normally recognize, you run to the window. It's nice. It's nice not having radio and television as the soundtrack of your life. I used to be the kind of guy that literally gets in my car or truck and turns on the radio. Literally start the vehicle, turn on the radio. Now I just really enjoy the quiet. When I come home, I remember radio always on, and I was an audiophile. Huge Bose fan, Pioneer fan, stereos, and that whole thing. Great speakers. Now my favorite speakers is a Bose SoundLink. It's only this big. I love it. The sound is incredible. And I have a couple Bluetooth speakers if I'm listening to a podcast. I don't need podcasts I don't need to listen to them in super hi-fi. I just have a couple simple Bluetooth speakers to listen to podcasts and videos. As far as music is concerned, it's the Bose SoundLink that I really like. It's the best sounding speaker I've ever had in my life. I don't even know how much it is now, but at the time it was probably the best $200 to $300 I've ever spent. It's incredible. But I don't need sound. You want to know what my house sounds like? Listen. It's nice, isn't it? Like I said, the simple pleasures of a quiet home. Most people have been indoctrinated, not educated. Think about it. Most people don't even know why they believe what they believe. Think about the things that you know about history. Think about what you were taught in school. And remember, everything you were taught, listen, was taught in a state-sponsored school. You were not educated, you were indoctrinated. When you read on your own, you're educated. When someone else does it for you, that's called indoctrination. May I present to you that 90% of what you learned in school about history, think about this, 90% of what you learned in school about history is wrong, fabricated, and created. It's not the truth. But there are people who will swear and die on that hill that what they learned is truth. You were indoctrinated. Isn't it amazing when you start to rip away the indoctrination and start to be educated, how ripped off you feel, how lied to you feel? May I present to you that 90% of what you know about history is wrong. So you let people crash on your couch, then a day later you lay down on that couch to watch TV, and your face is where somebody's feet were. But then you put on a mask when you leave the house because you don't want to catch a you-know-what. Imagine if you used all your football watching time to work on an online business, a YouTube channel, creating courses, and perfecting your on-camera presence. You'd make $100,000 your first year not watching football. Watching organized sports makes you lose money. You know how I talk about watching TV makes you brain dead? Same thing with sports. Even more. You think encouraging people to stop watching TV shows is hard? Wait till you try to stop people from watching their sports. Women have their shows, men have their sports. Just try. And all the rituals that are associated with it, the eating rituals. How you sit, where you sit, how you prep, how the emotions. It's interesting how your emotions go up and down when you're watching sports. Bread and circuses. So are you still going to watch football? How far will these professional teams go before you say this? How far? Remember, your silence perpetuates this nonsense. You can ignore it a little bit, right? As long as they don't show it on TV, you'll still watch the sports. I remember when sports were all American. Now, they've been infiltrated with social justice BS, and it's no longer about the sports, is it? How long will you continue to have this crap shoved down your throat? Turn off the sports. I caught myself saying, be safe, to someone in Poland. Be safe is something you say to Americans, not Polish people. Because one is safer in Poland than they are in America in most cities. That I can guarantee you. When people leave, I always tell people all the time, have fun and be safe. I'm famous for those words. Have fun, be safe. Because I live in America and cities suck and you have to look over both shoulders and behind yourself at all times when you're in America, in a city. Pretty much the toilet of America. Cities are the toilet of every state. You find nothing but shit swirling in there. Every relationship that calls itself serious needs what I call enhanced accountability for both parties to have complete confidence in each other and the growth of the third entity called the relationship. There's you, there's the other person, and then there's the relationship. that takes on a life of its own. And you do things to protect the relationship. One of those things is enhanced accountability. When people are silent, that builds mistrust in the other person. And most likely, your hunches are right if the other person is silent. I can speak to men probably easier than women, but if your woman goes silent on you, she's been with another man, do not take her back. Don't let your sentimentalism get the best of you. That's what kills you. That's what messes up your head. Never take a woman back after she's been with another man or after a period of silence. She's not sitting around watching her shows, eating skinny ice cream, drinking skinny vodka, pining over you. She's gone, bro. She's gone. When she's silent, that means she's gone. You're a fool to take her back. You don't take someone back after periods of silence. They're not sitting around crying over you. Young man, listen to me. Never take someone back after they're gone. Never. I don't care if it's just a few days. Never take someone back. Have enough pride in yourself. She'll say, I don't do social media. But also, she checks your social media several times a day to see how you're doing, catch up on you. Interesting, right? But she doesn't do social media. Nobody was talking about the spikes while half the country was a violent, destructive mob or supporting the violent, destructive mob. So put your king masks in your mouth. I don't want to hear you. Your words mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. Your silence during the rioting and destruction is violence. The market is open, wide open for a private security company, not unlike Blackwater, with tactically armed men with lethal and less lethal weapons, no mall cops allowed, a premium service that will be a combination of Navy SEAL, legal counsel, and patriot. They won't allow property to be destroyed or their clients to be hurt. Who is going to step up to the plate and create a company like that? Who's going to do it? I'm not talking about mercenaries going overseas. I'm talking about people here. Who's going to start that company? Because there will, in time, be a need for that, and people will pay for that. Not everybody is going to fold and allow their businesses to be destroyed. A lot of you young guys have Insta thoughts, right? Can't even say that word anywhere, can you? Try typing that word. Try hashtagging that word on Instagram. You won't be able to. Just try it. Hashtag THOT. You won't be able to do it. You had Insta thoughts, I had club sluts. Now all of those club sluts are about 55 and up. They LARPed as honest married women 2 or possibly even 3 times, still looking for men's approval. Faces might be okay. The necks look like a dryer vent hose. They're sexual animals. You will confuse how they treat you with love. You'll confuse it with love because you'll be so insanely sexually satisfied. They don't know how to love a man. They don't know how to be loved by a man. They don't know how to love a man except sexually, and they don't know how to be loved by a man except sexually. And they get very angry when you truth them. They're out there. You have to weed through them to find the person who's not one of them. All of a sudden, nerds are pretty attractive, aren't they? Those introverted nerds that read a lot and garden and sew and shop and decorate. and cook and are domesticated, all of a sudden they're very attractive, aren't they? As a man entering my 7th decade on this earth, I've got many observations about women. Her past is important, men. It's important. She can try to reinvent herself for you. Sometimes it works, most time it doesn't. Speaking of women my age, they want you to have the priestly duty of absolving them of their past and making them an honest woman. That's way too much work. If you meet a woman, you either take her as she is, because when you start digging and diving into the past, you're not going to want to be with her. So you have to kind of put that aside. Every man wants to think that he's getting a virginic woman at any age. It doesn't matter. And there's a lot that you have to suppress mentally if you want to be with that woman. There is a difference between a man who's been with many women and a woman who's been with many men. There is a difference. I do believe that multiple sexual partners does hurt our soul, whether we are male or female. But I think it really kills women's bonding ability, hence the distance and the time away from you. She can't bond to you. She's unable to bond to you. Out of sight, out of mind, young brother. That's what she's thinking. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And the non-bondable woman, when I say non-bondable, I mean the woman who's unable to literally bond with a man because of her sexual past. There's a coldness and a stare, a coldness to their soul and a stare in their eyes. The sparkle is long gone, long gone. The non-bondable woman, the woman who is incapable of bonding with you, does the treasure to trash to treasure cycle many times in her life, and it shows in her face and her eyes. That's a fact. Desperate, deluded men think that they can change that. You can't absolve her from her past. It is what it is. Even though you can try to absolve yourself from your past, but it is what it is. I like to say you can't shine a turd. Doesn't happen. It only adds to your misery when you try to make a demon an angel. Can't happen. Can't happen. And a lot of you young guys think that by sleeping around, you're doing something good for yourself. We already know it's not good for women. And the woman who's done that excessively has lost her ability to bond. You can see that in her eyes, in her face. Men, you just get more angry in life and frustrated and dark and black-pilled because life's not turning out the way you want it to turn out. Life owes you nothing. Nothing. People who are solely fiction readers are usually the brain-dead, boring types. You know, just sit on a beach or just spend their time reading novels. People who are solely non-fiction readers are high-strung and not peaceful. They're anxious. They're not fun to be around. Readers of both have a third element. So we have the brain-dead, boring types. We have the high-strung, not peaceful, anxious types. But reading both forms of literature, fiction, nonfiction, biographies, how-to books, it creates a nice third element that's neither boring nor anxious. They're stimulating, interesting, nicer, and fun to be around. Take in everything. Regarding couples who can't see each other now, hanging in there during lockdown time, especially if you're a long-distance couple, is either going to be a complete waste of time or be a testimony to the power of desire. And they will have stories to tell their children someday. That's what's happening in the world right now. I've always loved the phrase, a little bird told me. Do you know that phrase, a little bird told me? When you have information but you never want to disclose the source, or you have inside information, someone says, well, how do you know that? Who told you? And your answer might be, let's just say a little bird told me. I love that. A little bird told me. It's like a little bird landing on your shoulder and just whispering in your ear and then flying off. That's what it reminds me of. I would like to report someone for not wearing a mask. His name is Mike Hunt. Who would you like to report for not wearing a mask? Put your answer down below. I want a girl with the right allocations who's fast, thorough, and sharp as a tack. She's playing with her jewelry. She's putting up her hair. She's touring the facilities and picking up the slack. I want a girl with a short skirt and a long jacket. Or I should say a long jacket. Cake, 2001. Interesting song. You ready for this? Strap yourself in. Breakups are always harder with someone if you've had sex with them. Always. Always, always, always. Why? Because sex was created to help you bond, to bring people close together. When you use sex for nothing but 7 seconds of pleasure, it does something to your soul. Let's get real. But when you break up with somebody after just like a coffee dates, or if you haven't gotten intimate yet, the breakup can be perplexing, but it certainly isn't hard. When you've had sex with somebody and they break up with you, it seems to hurt more, doesn't it? A testimony to the bonding power of sex. So a breakup is really a tearing apart. It's not breakup, it's tearing apart. Sex feels good and helps you bond. Men can be irreversibly broken if they have been Johnny Appleseed spreading their seed all over the world, all over the place. The whole concept of being an international playboy is so overstated. The benefits are so over talked about and overrated. Of course, many of the red-pilled young men and red-pilled gurus would never admit that you hurt your soul the more you have sex with different people. So what we have in society now is hurt souls attracting hurt souls who can't bond, having sex with hurt souls that can't bond. And then everyone wonders why relationships are not fulfilling. The mayor of Miami says, we don't want people congregating indoor or out, he said before the Independence Day weekend. But that idiot was silent when mobs were protesting and destroying his city. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a hoax. It's a real, you know what, accompanied by fake science and questionable social implications. Yes, the you know what is real, but the implications are fake, and they're supported by fake science. Don't forget that the Democrats destroyed entire industries, and it had nothing to do with a you know what. Nothing to do with it. So in November, if you're in America and at election time, remember, do not forget who shut your business down. Do not forget who shamed you for not wearing a mask and said you can't go to your father's funeral and created fake science around a real you know what. Politicized it and shut your year down. Your 2020 sucks because of Democrats. Do not forget this. Do not forget this. What you allow is exactly what is going to continue in your life. And so far, you've allowed a lot. You've folded and caved in more this year than you ever have in your entire life. And now you're reaping the benefits. And the shit show that you now call life is your new normal. Welcome to the jungle that you created by allowing things to happen. Interesting, huh? I have a dream that one day hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes would be the only thing that closes my business down. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has told me I can't perform any work that requires me to take a mask off of a client. No beard trims, no shaves, which is 2/3 of my salon work. By law, I can't do it. Someone said, well, it's not a law, it's just an order. They can shut me down and take away my license for giving somebody a beard trim or a straight razor shave in the state of Pennsylvania. Although I empathize with your place in life and the hand of cards that you may have been dealt, you must gain insight into the role that you have played in the outcomes that you have experienced. It takes a couple years to stop parroting red pill people or the book that you just read. You just don't have your own words yet to describe what happened to you, so you're borrowing other people's words. But eventually you will come up with your own descriptors and your own way of describing the darkness in your life and the role that you played in it and how you contributed to your demise and the consequences of your folly. It'll eventually happen. It's humbling. You walk a little bit softer when you realize that you played a role in a lot of the darkness and pain in your life. Sure, other people might have done things, shortchanged you, turned their backs on you, betrayed you. But let's rewind a few minutes. What continues in your life is what you allow to continue. From this day forward, you are not allowing people to betray you. But then you'll never get into a relationship of any type, will you? You need to have a semi-permeable heart which allows love to come out and allows you to receive love. It's called discernment, to know what's good for you and what's not. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow morning in the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.